Soon after Adam and Eve are driven from the Garden of Eden, they have two children, Cain, a farmer, and Abel, a shepherd. Cain offers crops in sacrifice to God, and Abel offers part of his flock, both of which were acceptable offerings in ancient Israel. But the Bible says that for some reason, God had no regard for Cain's sacrifice. Cain becomes angry, and in the world's first act of premeditated murder, he lures Abel out into the field and kills him. When God discovers what happened, he curses Cain that he would never be able to farm again. God tells him, "When you till the ground, it will no longer yield to you its strength. You will be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth." Cain complains that his punishment is too great, that without the protection of a settled farming life, anyone who meets him will kill him. God responds by granting Cain an exemption from the usual law of eye for an eye. Normally, if someone killed a member of your tribe, you were entitled to kill a member of theirs in retaliation. But God exempts Cain from this law. In Hebrew, he literally says, "Every killer of Cain will be avenged 7 times over." The Bible calls this a mark or a sign that God gives to Cain. Like many of the stories of Genesis, the Cain and Abel story is meant to explain the personality of one of Israel's neighbors. Down to the south of Israel lived a tribe of fierce nomads known as Cainites. These Cainites did not farm, and they were among Israel's historical enemies. They were the kind of people who, if you killed one of their men, they would kill 7 of yours in retaliation. In fact, when God puts the mark upon Cain, the Hebrew could just as easily be translated, "Every killer of a Cainite will be avenged 7 times over." At the same time, the animosity between the farmers of Israel and their nomadic, non-Israelite neighbors was a constant problem in the Bible, an animosity that this story helps explain. But for Latter-day Saints, the Cain and Abel story has taken on a much more troubling meaning. When the church was founded, Americans had been enslaving Africans for over 200 years. In an effort to justify slavery, Christians turned to the story of Cain and Abel, claiming that Africans were descended from Cain, and black skin was the mark of the curse. This idea likewise finds expression in the Book of Mormon, where the Lamanites are cursed with dark skin. Tellingly, Nephi tells us that the mark isn't put upon them until they try to kill their brother, mirroring broader American attitudes about Cain's curse of dark skin for fratricide. Brigham Young was especially influenced by the idea that Cain's descendants had been cursed with darkness. He taught repeatedly that God had cursed Cain with black skin, and he used this as evidence that God had excluded those of African descent from the priesthood. From nomadic Cainites to the LDS priesthood ban, from the Book of Mormon to American slavery, the meaning of the Cain and Abel story has changed over time, and it has had a major impact on millions of individuals who look to the Bible as a source of inspiration.